in the last lesson that I just read from the Bible, it talks about a race. It talks about running a race. How many of you have ever ran in a race? Yeah? Have you ever run in a race where you're with other kids and you're running, and you start at a starting line, and then there's a finish line, and you run as fast as you can in order to get to the finish line to see who can get there first. That's what a race is. And God says that our lives are kind of like a race. It starts when you're born, and it ends when you die. And at that finish line, there's something really cool awaiting you. A great prize. You know what that trophy is? Mm-hmm. After you die, where do you go?
To heaven.
You go to heaven, that's right. So this race that God says that our life is starts when we're born, and we race all the way to the finish line when we die. But when we die, we cross that finish line and we go to heaven. We get the prize of heaven. That's pretty cool, isn't it? That's pretty awesome. Well, how do we know that we get the prize at the end? Because somebody ran the race before us, didn't he? And he ran it perfectly. Do you know who that was? Jesus, yeah. Because Jesus ran that race perfectly for us. And he lived a perfect life for us, and he died an innocent death for us. And because of Jesus, we know that we get the prize in the end when our lives are done. And so God says, as you're running this race of life, you need to always keep your eyes fixed on the finish line. And you need to always keep your eyes fixed on Jesus. Because he's the one that finished the race and makes it so that you can run the race too. What happens if you're running a race and you're running, and all you do when you're running that race is looking behind you? What might happen to you? Whew, I'm running the race. What might happen if all I'm doing is looking behind me?
You fall down.
You might fall down, yeah. Because if you don't see in front of you, right? You don't know what's in front of you. You might trip and you might fall down. What else could happen if you're running but you're looking behind you? You could run into somebody else, right? And you could be hindered by somebody else. And if you're running and you're looking behind you, maybe you'll veer off the path and you won't actually be on the track anymore, but you'll just run all the way over there, and then who knows where you are. And God says that when we're running this race of life, as we're going from our birth to our death to that heaven, that we need to look forward always. And we need to look at Jesus always, because if we look and gaze at Jesus through faith all the way through our lives, then we're going to make it a straight and narrow path, and we're going to make it all the way to our eternal home in heaven. So can you do that? As you run this race of life, can you keep looking forward and keep looking at Jesus all the time? Because if you look at Jesus all the time, then what's going to happen is you're going to run a straight race, and you're going to run it straight into heaven. All right? You can go back to your seats now.